Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 29 of the In From Japan podcast, the podcast where we talk about the latest news on Japan-developed games and other things in relation to them, available on Spotify, Podbean, and YouTube. I'm your host, Erroll, and as always, with me is my co-host, the phenomenon from Suriname, Jason Coiter.
Hey.
And we're going to start, like we always do, with the Japanese games we've been playing. So, I've still been playing Monster Hunter World. I just got to Iceborne as of last night.
Okay.
Was it last night? Yeah, I think it was last night. It was cool. No pun intended, because it's a snow area.
That was terrible, but okay.
But so the end of Monster Hunter World, you have to fight these 3 Elder Dragons. Teostra... Oh god, what's the other one? What's the third one? It's Teostra, Valhazak, and Kushala Daora. And Teostra is one of my favorite monsters. It's a big, fiery manticore that lives in a volcano. So that was a really fun fight. Kushala Daora is a giant ice and wind dragon that can create tornadoes that's really, really annoying.
I mean...
And,
yeah,
Valhazak is a weird, gross dragon that has, like, an anglerfish head, and it, can suck the life out of other monsters, and that translates into giving you, like, reducing your health. So you have to have a weapon with Elder Seal, which is an ability that makes it so so Elder Dragons can't use their like
abilities,
most special abilities. Yeah.
Okay.
And then so when I got to Iceborne, I had to fight oh god, what is it called? Beotodus. It's like an ice shark. But the thing, I forgot, there's something else I fought in other Monster Hunter games that was similar. I forgot what it was called, though. And it was like a desert version of that, essentially. Because so I didn't have any, like, sonic bombs on me, and that's what you're supposed to use when things go underwater, because they're sensitive to it, and it'll make them flop up on, like, land. I didn't have any of those, so it took a while.
Okay. Have you managed to get into a groove yet? Because in the beginning you weren't really that much of a fan of Monster Hunter World.
Oh, I definitely got into a groove. I was playing it like every morning for a while.
Oh wow!
Until today, but that's just because of like Xbox Showcase and stuff. But yeah, I got into a real groove with, like I have with other Monster Hunters before, so that's great. Okay. I look forward to playing more of it. Something else I've also been playing, more recently released game, is Tales of Crestoria.
Ooh.
I know I said my phone couldn't run it, but let's just say somebody had a spare tablet. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
And I'm not that familiar with the Tales series, but I can at least recognize characters like Velvet and Lloyd and oh god, what's his name? What's the main character from Tales of Abyss?
I'm gonna look it up.
Was it Luke?
Yeah, I think so. Tales of the
So I know some characters from like those games and Tales of Graces, but then other characters I'm just like, I don't know who this is, but they look cool, whatever.
Yeah, it's Luke von Faber or Faber.
Yeah. So I've been playing that. It's nice to have even though it's a mobile game, it's cool that there's a turn-based Tales game. And the story is pretty cool too.
Yeah, it gets really dark later on. You'll see soon enough.
I don't know, it got pretty dark in the beginning.
I think that's really just kind of the setup of things, and it's whatever. But
what, you didn't think that was dark?
I mean, I've seen things, man. If you've
seen things,
if you've played as much Tales and seen as much anime as I have, then you've seen things. So this was kind of okay. That's a decent effort, but then they followed through on it, and then now I'm really impressed with their approach.
Hey, so I know Dark. Okay, I'm rewatching Digimon Tamers for the umpteenth time.
Well, there you go.
The darkest Digimon season.
But let's double back on the fact that you like it because it's turn-based, which strikes me as odd because the Tales series proper isn't turn-based at all.
Yeah. That's why I'm not that big of a Tales fan.
Okay, so you prefer turn-based strategy or turn-based battle systems?
At least to most Tales.
Uh-oh?
Oh, okay. No, I thought Audacity was slow for a second.
Okay.
A little behind the scenes for you. No, it's like with Tales, like every time I've played a Tales game, nothing really clicked with me except like Berseria. I thought was fine. And I remember somebody telling me like, well, Berseria is a little simpler than the other Tales games. I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's.
I think it started to get a bit more streamlined or quote unquote simpler with Exilia. Because the older ones are a bit more complex, and not per se complex, but there's a lot more to keep up with. But yeah, it's fine for what it is. So.
Yeah, so like for like, cause I'll play other games that have other JRPGs that don't have turn-based combat, and I'll like them fine. It's just mostly like Tales games, so it's like, all right, so this is cool. It's unfortunate. It's not like a fully fleshed out like console game with the story being pretty good, and I like the characters so far too.
View it as a proper game, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not like a proper. It's just like the way it's structured. I just feel like because it's a mobile game, that makes the story pacing not great.
But I'd say look at it this way: them putting so much effort into a mobile game just goes to show you how much they care about it and how much they want you to feel like you'd want to invest in the game. Well, invest not
how many
per se.
Have you crashed a lot?
You mean the game itself?
Yeah.
No crashes up till now. What I've had is that the connection kind of craps out from time to time.
Oh, I've had that.
And then I have to restart
I only crashed once.
But no crashes so
far. And it's specifically, and I was talking to my friend about this, it's always specifically right after you finish a quest. So at least you got the stuff from that, so you're not like it doesn't mess up your progress.
Okay. Have you tried lowering the settings? Maybe that can help.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just like because I know Crestoria is still a little buggy. So.
Well, yeah, it just released, and they've gone into maintenance quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be fine. It was only that one time. It hasn't crashed since. So.
Okay. Yeah.
So, obviously, you've also been playing Tales of Crestoria.
Yeah. I've been playing Tales of Crestoria pretty much every day now, which is surprising because I didn't think I'd be that deep into a mobile Tales game. There have been mobile Tales games previously, but they have since been shuttered, so even if you had interest in them, you couldn't find them. Maybe if you circumvent certain things. But Crestoria is pretty fun, I think. It's kind of a big disconnect for me because in contrast to you, I really like the real-time action combat. So this being turn-based is kind of having me shift a paradigm in my head. Like, okay, you're playing a Tales game.
Like Final Fantasy 13.
Well, kind of.
Paradigm shift.
So I kind of have to account for that. But I enjoy the story. I enjoy the characters. It's a pretty forgiving gacha game. so I don't really have any complaints on that front. I also don't really have, when it comes to gacha games, that much attachment to characters, so I don't really clamor for really super rare characters, or super special or special rare, whatever characters. So that's that. It kind of runs laggy on my phone, and granted my phone is 3 or 4 years old by this point. So
why? That's so weird that it wasn't able to run on my 1-year-old phone, but your older phone can run it.
It depends. What kind of processor does your phone have?
I have no idea.
Because I have an LG G6, and mine has a Snapdragon 8 series processor, and that is kind of flagship level, so it kind of can pull its own weight. If you have a 6 series or a 7 series, then you're gonna have a bit more trouble keeping up with modern games, and even me with a flagship processor has trouble keeping up with games, which kind of sucks because I want to give mobile games a fair shake, but just to play them you have to upgrade like $400 every year or two, which is not really ideal for a game that's supposed to be free to play or free to start. For that money I'd rather buy a console or invest in a PC. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying Tales of Crestoria, and besides that I haven't had that much time to play, except for The Last of Us Part 2 and Dragon Quest XI's. I just got to the part where the big bad got revealed, or a bit after that, and the team disbanded.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
that's right at the time skip.
I wouldn't call it a time skip just yet, or maybe I'm not there yet. I'm on Jade's quest, if that makes any sense to you.
Like you're going back to get her?
No, or maybe this is one of the differences with the definitive edition. After you or your crew gets scattered to the wind, you pick up after that with every individual party member for a side story.
Yeah, that wasn't. I don't think that was in the original.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm on my second side story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I need to play that. I didn't know that was a thing that happened.
I mean, they're fine, but they're not as engaging or as fun as the main story quests. So
yeah.
Maybe you're not missing out that much either. Yeah.
Alright, well, moving on. I guess we don't have any Info Japan J-list this week. Maybe I wasn't looking. We had so much news last time for it. Whatever. Seven Deadly Sins, the new season, comes out next month.
On Funimation?
I think on Netflix.
But beware, it doesn't have the best reputation online. So if you're really, really hungry for more Seven Deadly Sins content, just go read the manga.
It's an anime I watched that I don't have to think. And I'm like, oh, that was a cool fight. Whatever.
Just save yourself. Save yourself.
Don't tell me what to do.
That's all I'll say.
Hey, I watched Black Butler 2 and I survived, okay? So it'll be alright.
Oh, don't say I didn't warn you.
So, moving on to the recommended content, we have When Character Design Isn't Enough, The Tragic Legacy of Spectros by Subjectively Speaking over on YouTube. This is from like a year or so ago, but I don't see a lot of people making videos on Spectros, so that's why I put that there. We have New Friends of Mineral Town Love Interest Fill Holes in Our Hearts by Jenny Lotto over at Siliconera. Friends of Mineral Town Interview Returning to Life on the Farm by Jenny Lotto over at Siliconera. How Japanese Arcades Are Trying to Protect Against the Novel Coronavirus by Brian Ashcraft over at Kotaku. Final Fantasy XIV, The Future of Its Story Most Lovable Character, and Butts by Michael Hyam over at GameSpot. Alright, buddy.
That definitely sounds like Michael.
Final Fantasy XIV Director, Don't Get Too Comfortable in Assuming a Character is Safe by Natalie Flores over at Fanbyte. Final Fantasy XIV's big 5.3 patch opens up the path to new players by CM Ahmed over at Eurogamer. Yeah, I put 3 different interviews because they all have different good information about a great game. Also, a Final Fantasy XIV art book is available for pre-order, and it's coming out August 11th? It's coming out really soon.
Well,
and so is the Monster Hunter World art book.
That sounds like it's dropping with the new patch.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's the Shadowbringers art book.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Monster Hunter one is just the base game. And then we have George Takei, Kaiji Tang talk about playing parts in Yakuza Like a Dragon, also by Jenny Lotto over Silicon Era. Alright, and now it's time for the news rundown. So, our bearer of bad news, the Shinigami, will take it away.
Bankai. To start off, we have... This is why half the internet shut down today. This is by Elise.
This was from last Friday.
Okay. This is by Elise Stanley for Gizmodo. Scores of websites and services went down Friday afternoon due to problems with Cloudflare. That's a tongue twister. Cloudflare's DNS service, sparking rampant speculation about the cause. After all, a global DDoS attack would totally fit the real-life apocalypse movie that 2020 is increasingly turning into. The outage, which started shortly after 5 p.m. Eastern Time, brought down popular sites and services like Discord, Politico, Feedly, and League of Legends for roughly half an hour on Friday. Once connections were restored, Cloudflare issued an incident report stating that the issue was not a result of an attack and that it, quote-unquote, has been identified and a fix is being implemented. Turns out the real explanation's nothing so nefarious. Evidently, half the internet briefly went dark because of a crappy router in Atlanta. Okay, so you can click on the article for more information.
Maybe we shouldn't have so many services. I'm thinking maybe we shouldn't have so many services on the same thing.
That's what we call in the business a monopoly. You can thank capitalism for that one.
Well, at least it was only half the internet.
Okay, next up we have Paper Mario devs are no longer allowed to make new characters that touch on the Mario universe. This is by Jordan Oluman for IGN. The developers of Paper Mario have revealed that they are no longer allowed to make characters that touch on the Mario universe or modify existing Mario characters. In an interview with VGC, Nintendo veteran Kensuke Tanabe was asked about the process behind designing new villains for a franchise full of iconic antagonists like Bowser and Kamek. In response, Tanabe noted that... Come again?
And Warrant. The villain of Super Mario 2?
I guess. If that floats your fancy. In response, Tanabe noted that since Paper Mario Sticker Star, it's no longer possible to modify Mario characters or to create original characters that touch on the Mario universe.
Mario.
This means that the team behind Paper Mario Origami King had to come up with new characters from outside the existing Mario universe for the game, as they couldn't riff off of established Mushroom Kingdom villains. New characters seemingly can't even resemble Mario characters. We need to create original characters with designs that don't involve the Mario universe at all, like we've done with Ollie and the stationary bosses. How so?
Because they're still making characters, like partner characters, that are just Goombas.
Sure. But I'm guessing it was discussed on the Acts of the Blood God podcast and the Split Screen podcast, I think. A possible reason for all of this is that Mario has become more of a corporate property, in conjunction with the Universal Studios deal. So it's probably because the intellectual rights to the characters are kind of sensitive grounds now. You can't really change or modify something without it upsetting the balance with regards to the studio or the movie, I think.
So they're just not going to make new characters?
They're going to make new characters, but just not anything what you're expecting. Like it won't be an evil Mario a la Wario or an evil version
I thought
of
it was the opposite, where those were the only things they would make.
They're gonna be so divorced from the characters we know and love that they might as well be from a completely different game, is what I'm guessing. Yeah.
See, I'm okay with adding new stuff, but if you're just gonna have it like a one game thing and then never mention them again, I don't know.
It's probably also a time sensitive thing. Maybe if the movie is already out, then they'll be like, okay, we'll allow you to experiment again. Because I think
it all just seems so strange.
I mean, it is strange, but it also happened in the WB DC universe when some characters aren't allowed to be used because there are movies in production or in the planning stages or what have you, and you can even cross-pollinate between movies and TV shows. That has been kind of
except for
taken aback.
Except for that one time.
Yeah, except for that one very rare time. But it used to be the norm that you can't use Batman in your TV show because he's for the movies and he's off limits, and you can't use Superman for your TV show because he's for the movies and off limits. Like in Arrow, they were gonna use the Suicide Squad with the classic lineup, and wasn't allowed because the Suicide Squad.
And they did it differently.
Yeah. So it's probably something like that. Okay, next up.
At that point, it's kind of like, oh, well, then why make a movie? Why have a TV show of a superhero and then make a movie of that same superhero?
I mean, my feelings are the audience is smart enough to differentiate. Cause
no, it's not that. It's just
I can
annoying.
tell you.
I don't know.
No. It's
look, as a Flash fan, I say we don't need a Flash movie. I said it. All right, back to Japanese games.
Anyway, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim delayed to September 22nd in the West. This is by Sal Romano for Gematsu. Atlus has delayed 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim for PlayStation 4 from its previously announced September 8 release date to September 22nd in the West. It will launch alongside a Day 1 update with English voiceovers. And if you click on the article, there's an overview of the game. 13 Sentinels is the, I want to say, RPG by, or visual novel / RPG by Vanillaware. And it's being published by Atlus, and it looks really cool. And it also won a lot of awards in Japan for the story, so that's really promising. So keep your eye out on that. Okay, I think we're done with the bad news.
Alright, so in other news, we have Moon for Switch, English teaser website launch, first screenshot. This is by Sal Romano over at Gematsu once again. Onion Games has launched the teaser website and released the first screenshot for the English version of Moon for Switch. The full website will open on July 31st. The Switch version of Moon first launched via the Nintendo eShop in October 2019 in Japan. A physical edition is due out October 15th. Moon originally launched for PlayStation in October 1997. A release date for the English version of Moon for Switch is yet to be announced. So I don't think this has been localized before. This is kind of known as the anti-RPG, where it makes fun of a bunch of different RPG tropes.
Kind of like Mother and the Earthbound series.
Yeah.
And
Onion
Undertale.
Games also they also did Dandy Dungeon, which is hilarious and great.
Okay. Okay. Well,
so that's why I'm looking forward to this. It's a new localization.
Well, we'll have to keep our eyes out for that
from a good studio who does not get that much attention.
Okay, next up we have Koei Tecmo wants your feedback to help develop future Dynasty Warriors titles. This is by Sato for Silicon Era. With Dynasty Warriors' 20th anniversary approaching, Koei Tecmo wants to hear fan feedback that will be used to develop future titles from the series. Fans can share their feedback by partaking in the Dynasty Warriors series survey. The survey will be available until July 22nd. No, is that good? No, 26th. Until July 26, 2020. Those who participate will also receive a special wallpaper after completing the survey. So if you want to help shape the future of Dynasty Warriors, here's your chance. The article has a link to the survey, so get on it. Are you a big
we can finally get Final Fantasy Warriors.
I mean, wouldn't be that bad. Are you a big Dynasty Warriors fan?
I like the spin-offs they've been doing with other series recently. I liked when I played of Pirate Warriors 2. Yeah. I heard Pirate Warriors 4 is real good. Dragon Quest Heroes 2.
Fire Emblem Zelda.
Yeah. I mean, I always thought Fairy Tail would be able to get a Dynasty Warriors type game.
Yeah, but that wouldn't help it's just like One Piece comparisons. So I'd refrain from that.
Alright, next story.
Next up is
Metacritic is delaying user reviews until 36 hours after the game is released. This is by Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. Metacritic, the popular review aggregating website, has decided to delay user reviews for new games until 36 hours after they've been released in a defense against review bombing. As reported by GameSpot, why do they do that? This decision comes only a few weeks after the release of The Last of Us Part 2, which is one of the most recent examples of games targeted by negative reviews, many of which come only hours after a game is complete. Considering The Last of Us Part 2 could take 20 to 30 hours to complete, many early reviews were assuredly from those who had yet to finish it. We recently implemented the 36-hour waiting period for all user reviews in our game section to ensure our gamers have time to play these games before writing their reviews, a Metacritic spokesperson said in a statement to GameSpot. This new waiting period for user reviews has been rolled out across Metacritic's game section and was based on data-driven research and with the input of critics and industry experts. Metacritic stated the decision was not directly linked to any particular game, but was a move in the fight to stop these review bombers from bringing down a game's overall user score as soon as it's released. Well, while it won't completely prevent review bombing, it's at least a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I'd be in favor of abolishing user reviews completely, but on the flip side, user reviews are sometimes helpful. Like when I'm on Steam and I'm
exactly. I was gonna bring that up.
Interested in buying a game, I'll scroll down to see user reviews, and you can also see how many hours someone has invested in a game, or if someone got a refund on a game. So I think that context would be helpful on Metacritic. Like you have to confirm you bought the game and play the game for at least I want to say 5 hours, 10 hours to form a coherent opinion. But yeah, it's a step in the right direction. Next up, we have Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster announced for PS4 and Switch. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Atlus has announced Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster for PlayStation 4 and Switch. It will launch on October 29th in Japan and in spring 2020 worldwide. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster is based on Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne Maniacs Chronicle Edition. Jeez, that's a mouthful. Which features Raido Kuzunoha. Yeah, Raido Kuzunoha. The 14th from Devil Summoner? Raido? That's...
yes, that's 14.
Okay, jeez. Let me go from the top. Which features Raido Kuzunoha, the 14th from the Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha series, as a replacement for Dante from the Devil May Cry series, who appeared as a guest character in Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne Maniacs. The remaster features improved graphics and gameplay, voiced event scenes, which can be switched on or off. That's a first for this game, because previously it didn't have voices. Normal and hard difficulty settings, plus the release of a merciful difficulty setting as a free downloadable content. That's interesting, because the mainline Shin Megami games are notable for being very difficult. Which also brings me to my next point. It's also notable that it's not getting a PC release, at least not in the beginning. At least
for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, given the success Persona 4 has had on Steam, you think Atlus will be like, oh, you know what, Steam is going to be our third pillar going forward. But no, I guess they have other plans down the road. Okay, next up we have Shin Megami Tensei 5 launches in 2021 worldwide. This is also by Sal Romano for Gematsu. Shin Megami Tensei 5 will launch for Switch in 2021 as a simultaneous global release, publisher Atlus announced. Here's an overview of the game via Nintendo. The next numbered entry in Atlus's beloved Shin Megami Tensei series is coming exclusively to Nintendo Switch. In this epic role-playing game, order itself has crumbled and chaos reigns overall. Shin Megami Tensei 5 will have a simultaneous global launch on Nintendo Switch in 2021. I might be mistaken, but the big demon that was addressing you in the trailer is either Lucifer or Satan. I know for the Judeo-Christians,
right?
They're more or less the same, but in the Shin Megami Tensei and Persona games, they're two different characters.
But no, it was because I remember Stealth was tweeting out something that the one from Satan's design in 5 looks a lot like Satan's design from Shin Megami Tensei 2.
Yeah, I'm looking it up, and it indeed looks like Satan from Shin Megami Tensei.
So maybe they're somehow connected.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was it Shin Megami Tensei 2 or 3 that it was the connection?
I don't know. That's what I thought. Still, I thought he said 2. Maybe he said 3. I've never played a Shin Megami Tensei game. Well, besides Persona. That's a spin-off.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I think with Shin Megami Tensei 3 and 5 being announced simultaneously, I think Atlus kind of wants to reshift focus back to Shin Megami Tensei as the proper series. Persona has been super popular. I mean, if something's successful, it's successful. You're not gonna shoot yourself in the foot because you want your other series to be more successful. If anything, you want both series to be successful. But I think they're trying to position Shin Megami Tensei as a more prominent series in their catalog. I know for fans it has a prominent status, but it seems like Atlus is making an effort to kind of shake people up and say, hey, remember the other game we used to make? And it's working out pretty well so far. I'm super interested in Shin Megami Tensei, and can't wait.
Hey Atlas, do you remember Digital Devil Saga?
I
hear a lot of people want that.
I also heard Stealth say Atlas has not been doing all that well with the current gen development, so maybe all these stumbles and the greater freedom and power on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X will grant them the opportunity to bring old games back in the fold. Who knows?
Huh. Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Next up, we have Shin Megami Tensei 5 has led original SMT games to top Amazon's PS2 sales charts. This is by Ryan Meitzler for DualShockers. And I have to say, DualShockers, thank you for having a featured image that doesn't hide the author's name and image, because sometimes it can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Anyway, after the game's initial reveal in 2017, in the beginning of the Nintendo Switch's life cycle, news on Shin Megami Tensei 5 has been noticeably quiet for some time. Thankfully, that has all changed earlier this week when Atlas shared a new trailer for the game at a recent Nintendo Direct Mini and confirmed that the long-awaited JRPG will finally be released sometime next year. While there's still quite a wait until then, those looking forward to the game have some time to catch up on past entries in the series, and that seems to be what a lot of people have in mind right now. As seen by Wario64, the most recent reveal for Shin Megami Tensei 5 seems to have, unsurprisingly, caused a spike in demand for the series' earlier entries on PS2 over on Amazon. As of this writing, the current list of PS2 bestsellers on Amazon is largely held by the PS2 Shin Megami Tensei titles such as Digital Devil Saga, there you go, Nocturne, Digital Devil Saga 2, along with the appearances from Persona 3 Fez, yes, and Persona 4, heck yes, given the Persona series history with Shin Megami Tensei. So,
and a random third-party DualShock controller.
I mean, this is great to see, and I'm super happy to see listings of older video games selling for so cheap, because let me tell you, I tried looking up how to get Skies of Arcadia for GameCube, and the prices deflated my enthusiasm real quick. So
I saw a copy of Skies of Arcadia Legends at the local retro game store once years ago.
How much was it going for?
I thought about getting it. $70.
Oh god, you should have gotten it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even have a Wii anymore, but I should have.
I mean,
there are ways.
It's easy. I mean, there are ways. Wink, wink. It's easier to get a Dreamcast for relatively cheap than getting a game that's a remake of a Dreamcast game or a remaster. It's ludicrous.
Depending on for Skies of Arcadia specifically.
Yeah, Skies of Arcadia specifically. So
it's so weird that when they were like, oh, the Dreamcast collection, and there's all those things that were also ported to GameCube, and then Skies of Arcadia, what's that?
Sega, where's Skies of Arcadia? Are you locking it up like breaking Class of the Apocalypse?
Look, Sega,
because let me tell you,
busy with your Fantasy Stars right and your Atlas. But
yeah,
you can bring Skies of Arcadia back too.
Yeah, like I just said, it's probably tucked away in a breaking Class of the Apocalypse case, and if you haven't noticed, Sega, it's the Apocalypse now, so
time to break the glass.
I mean, Shin Megami Tensei is kind of more fitting for the Apocalypse, I guess, but I digress.
Bring back Skies of Arcadia.
Next up, we have Sakuna of Rise and Ruin launches November 10th in North America, November 12th in Japan.
No, keep going.
And November 20th in Europe.
Okay, what I was going to say was, when I first saw this at E3 2017, I thought his name was Sakura of Rice and Rain. And I didn't learn until later it was Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
I mean, maybe that's the sequel. You'll never know. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Sakuna of Rise and Ruin will launch for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC via Steam on November 10th in North America, November 12th in Japan, and November 20th in Europe and Australia. Publishers Exceed Games, North America, Marvelous Japan, and Marvelous Europe, Europe and Australia announced. In North America, the console version versions will be available in physical standard and divine editions for $39.99 and $59.99 respectively. Oh, that's kind of neat. I can just get the game for cheap, I guess. The divine edition includes a custom outer box with exclusive artwork, the retail edition of the game, an 8.2 inches by 5.8 inches art book with over 130 pages of illustrations and concept art, a full original soundtrack, of 42 songs and on 3 discs, and a special 2 inches by 3 inches Japanese Omamori charm. Both versions are available for pre-order now on the Xseed Game Store and participating retailers.
What's a collector's edition of this? It's not like a super hyped up game. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I've had a lot of fun with this game every time I've played it, and I'm glad it finally has a release date. But it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, does it really need to have a collector's edition?
I mean, it looks fine. I mean, the art is gorgeous. The art book is warranted, I guess. And the soundtrack might be a very good listen, and the charm is neat. So, I mean, it's fine. It's not a super expensive collector's edition for $60.
No,
getting
it's
all
just
of
the
that.
price of a regular game. Yeah, so maybe that's they were like, oh, let's throw in some extras.
Yeah, that's a good value. Okay.
I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, I'm out of breath, and it's.
I hope it gets a demo, just so more people can try it out.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, more Nintendo Direct mini partner showcases coming throughout 2020. So, Shin Megami Tensei games and Sakuna were shown on various Nintendo Direct minis earlier this week. And while some people were not happy about it, other people, like us, were very happy about it.
Yeah.
And that there will be more later this year, according to Alistair Wong over at Siliconera. With all the buzz about Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Atelier Ryza 2, people might have missed the fact that this Nintendo Direct Mini was slightly different from the rest. Billed as a Nintendo Direct Mini partner showcase, Nintendo confirmed via the announcement tweet last night and voiceover at the start of the presentation that this is the first of a new series of Nintendo Direct presentations going forward, which will focus on third-party developed or published software, and more will appear in 2020. Details have been confirmed, and it's just another. He also reiterated that the effectiveness of the Nintendo Direct format, but stated that the company will continuously look for new ways of doling out information as times change, according to Furukawa. So, the people who were disappointed by this, it's like, you expected too much. And also, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is a lot.
Okay, but to be honest, the slate they announced during the Direct Mini was kind of underwhelming. Also
see how they announced it. They announced it at 9 o'clock Pacific time the day before.
Yeah. So the communication wasn't all that optimal. I mean, Nintendo knows how much hype there is surrounding their directs, and it's gotten probably to a fever pitch. The next direct is kind of shaping up to be a make or break situation for a lot of fans. Like, give us something.
Still gonna be overhyped.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because on the one hand, there are so many games out there. I'm guessing all of your backlogs are pretty packed. But for those who have nothing else to play, I can understand how frustrating it can be not having anything on the horizon. And if Rogue Company and Shin Megami Tensei is not up your alley, then you're kind of wondering, okay,
WWE 2K Battlegrounds?
I mean, it doesn't look like anyone's excited for that, but it kind of feels like, okay, do I just keep my Switch in a drawer and go outside, or not outside, you know what I mean? For now, do I go read a book? It's kind of disappointing because Sony has been very upfront with their new releases, and Xbox has also been pretty upfront with their new releases, especially today with the Xbox Showcase. being so.
My advice is, if you're looking for a new game to play, look into smaller releases that are critically well received, that maybe don't get that much attention.
Yeah,
they could use more attention.
Indie games like Sparklight,
indie games,
and
niche games,
Children of Morta. And
you never know. I was more saying, like, I don't know, Dandy Dungeon.
Sure, but indie games also need love. Sakura Wars, I guess. But yeah,
I need to look into that because my favorite composer composed for it, I think.
Motoi Sakuraba, I guess. Was that?
Oh, I thought it was Kohei Tanaka. Oh, I don't know which one Kohei Tanaka.
Sakura Wars PSN. Let me check for you. Let me check real quick.
I know he composed for one of them, and it said 2019, so I thought it was the new one.
No, it's Kohei Tanaka. You're right. I'm thinking of Motoi Sakuraba of Tales.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else has? Oh, he's also done for One Piece and Tokusatsu.
Yep. One Piece, G Gundam, 8th MS Team,
Gravity Rush. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's neat. Okay, moving on.
He's gonna compose my game one day.
Yeah, the Tokyo Game Show thing.
Yeah. Okay. So next story. Tokyo Game Show confirms 2020 online show in conjunction with Amazon. The online event will be held from September 23rd to 27th. This is by Daryl Harding over at Crunchyroll, because I saw no other people writing about this. After months of waiting for details for the upcoming online version of Tokyo Game Show, the Computer Entertainment Suppliers Association has finally confirmed the details of its online event and partnership with the shopping giant Amazon. The association announced back in May that due to the coronavirus, it was canceling its real-life September event at Makuhari Mess in favor for an online event. Tokyo Game Show 2020 will be held from September 23rd to 27th on both the Tokyo Game Show website as well as a special Amazon website that will host the event, as well as a special sponsors page. While September 23rd will be a business matching day, from September 24th, the websites will be kitted out with game previews, announcements, exhibiting companies, and even the purchase of limited edition goods. Links to all events will be on the main Tokyo Game Show page, with all the announcements and previews being covered right here on Crunchyroll News.
It's interesting that they did it in conjunction with Amazon and not with, say, Play Asia or J-List or one of the more...
Maybe it's because they're trying to go more global with this Tokyo Game Show because they can.
It makes sense. And Amazon certainly has that reach. Yeah.
Especially because look, Amazon has a lot of problems, but it's not like every person who works there is terrible. They do a mixture of good things and bad things, like every big company.
I suppose.
But
yeah, it's shaping up to be a good time.
Kamen Rider series.
That does not automatically put them in our good graces.
No, I know.
Okay.
It just makes them slightly better in my book.
Sure. Next up, we have Final Fantasy VII Remake Battle System survey shared by Square Enix. This is also by Jenny Lada for Silicon Era. Looking for something to do on a lazy Friday? Square Enix wants to know your thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Remake. That is, if you already played it. The Final Fantasy VII Remake Battle System post-play survey is now online. Don't get too excited though, as it is more of a surface level. What did you like best sort of thing? The Final Fantasy VII Remake Battle System survey is the second part of a two-part survey asking for people's insights on some of the newer elements inserted into the remake. It is available in the Final Fantasy Portal app until July 31st, 2020. In case you don't have the app, you can still see the questions on the page announcing the next part of the survey. It asks about character abilities. People liked, favorite materials, and summons. So, give it a look-see if you find that interesting. Next up, we have Final Fantasy VII Remake devs talk about scrapped ideas, concepts, and working on Part 2. This is by Sato for Silicon Era.
Is this more of an interview? Maybe I should have put this in recommended reading. Yeah, this is more of a...
Yeah, I'm just gonna get into it and then head off to the next thing. This week's issue of Famitsu magazine has a big feature on Final Fantasy VII Remake with an interview with key developers. Below are the highlights from the interview with Final Fantasy VII Remake developers. So you can click on that if it interests you, and you'll find some interesting.
That's my bad. I thought it was
fine.
a different one. Where
It's fine. It's fine.
And I deleted the next one because it's just pretty much the same thing.
The US Gamer one.
Yeah. So just ignore that. Move on to the next one.
I mean, it's worth noting that they've said that the new story has only just begun. This is by Hyrule Crier for US Gamer. It's notable that was it Kitase? Yeah, Yoshinori Kitase said that the new story of Final Fantasy VII has only just begun. This is important to note because previously they said the story of the remake won't differ all that much from the original. So them saying this, what does that mean? I believe it was the Axe of the Blood God crew that said it's probably them saying, oh, the reception, or was it Kind of Funny Games Daily? I forget. It's probably that the reception for Final Fantasy VII Remake was more positive than they were expecting, and that kind of led them to leap off of that and go for a more broader direction for the remake Part 2, and not be too hesitant to experiment with what they already have. So yeah, look forward to that. Okay, the bigger news of the week for Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy XIV Patch 5.3 Summary, End of Shadowbringers, Next Near Automata, Raid, Free Trial, and more. This is by Michael Hyam for GameSpot.
Near Automata.
Automata, whatever.
How dare you?
The next update for the Square Enix MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV comes in the form of Patch 5.3, subtitled Reflections in Crystal. It was first detailed by director, producer Naoki Yoshida and community manager Toshio Muroichi. Yeah, in the letter from the producer livestream from April, and the latest livestream revealed the 5.3 trailer. While going in depth on the upcoming content, the new main scenario quest will serve as a closer for the Shadowbringers narrative arc, with the Crystal Exarch at the center of what seems to be a dramatic conclusion. You can watch the trailer below, but be warned, it may spoil a few aspects of the Shadowbringers story. So yeah, with this update comes the streamlining of A Realm Reborn, which is vanilla Final Fantasy XIV, if you will. And it also makes everything up to level 60 free to play. And that includes most of A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward, I want to say. Is that right? Heaven's Ward? Did I get that right?
Yeah, Heaven's Ward.
Yeah, Heaven's Ward, the first expansion. So essentially you have a whole lot of game to play for free, if you will. And that's,
I mean, the first half of that isn't great, at least story-wise.
Yeah, but
it's fun.
That's why they streamlined it, or are going to streamline it for the next patch. So wait till the next patch is my advice. Then you can play it for free. Yeah.
Even more important news, which you told me.
Mm-hmm.
The Yokai Watch event is coming back, so you can get Yokai Watch mounts and minions.
Sure, more important news.
The most important news from that.
You also have access to the Machinist, Astrologian, and Dark Knight classes jobs, and you can play as an Aura character.
Or also as a Hrothgar.
I mean, sure. This is massive news for Final Fantasy XIV because my current game time is up. I need to resub. But them making free the base game and Heaven's Award is good news to me, because then I don't have to pay dime. Yeah. I'll just finish The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima first, and then head on off.
I got Heaven's Award months ago, so yeah. I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. You're up.
Hold on. New Deadly Premonition 2 patch edits transphobic scenes, improves frame rate. This is from US Gamer, and it's by the internet loading. Basically, well, the thing isn't loading, but basically the scene was edited because it dead named it had York intentionally dead naming a character, and so it took like those lines out, but it didn't really do much else. It seemed like a quick fix, and I see some people being kind of critical of it, and then Swery made a response that a lot of people didn't really like. And I guess he's still learning, and but like back, I had a bit of technical difficulties. It's gonna suck editing that. But what I was saying was, the Deadly Premonition 2, people are it's kind of like he edited some things, but not really enough to the point where people are satisfied still. At least in terms of those scenes. The frame rate has been improved though, so at least that's some good news.
Yeah, I think he's gonna need someone to condense the criticism for him, so that he can properly translate that to effective changes for the game. If he goes off of what he's Google translating from Twitter into the updated script, it's probably not gonna translate well into something meaningful. So here's hoping someone can help him out with this.
Yeah. Okay, so next story is Samurai Jack Battle Through Time launches August 21st. This is from Sawaramoto of Rekamatsu. Samurai Jack Battle Through Time will launch for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via Steam on August 21st for $39.99. Publisher Adult Swim Games and developer Soleil announced. So we got a release date.
Yay!
And a new trailer. So go check that out. It has a bunch of villains from the TV show. It's one of the best. It's one of the best animated shows of all time. That is all.
Okay. Next up, Spike Chunsoft.
Do you have anything to say on that?
Are you still there?
Yeah, I couldn't hear. What did you say?
I said next up, Spike Chunsoft.
Oh, I asked if you had anything to say on that.
No.
Oh, okay. Spike Chunsoft to take over Danganronpa series publishing in the West, also by Sawaramoto over at Gamatsu. Spike Chunsoft will take over publishing for the Danganronpa series in the West, the company announced. While Danganronpa is developed by Spike Chunsoft in Japan, the company did not establish a Western subsidiary until December 2017. By that time, NIS America was already in charge of localization and publishing for the Danganronpa series in the West. When the series was ported to PC, Spike Chunsoft handled publishing from day one. Last week, NIS America announced that select Danganronpa titles on the PlayStation Store will be no longer available for purchase under the NIS America banners starting in late August, but did not provide any further explanation. Here are those titles and their removal dates. August 31st, Danganronpa Another Episode, Ultra Despair Girls on Vita. September 4th, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc on Vita. Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair on Vita. And Danganronpa 3, Killing Harmony on PS4 and Vita. Spike Chunsoft will presumably relist these titles under its own banner following the NIS America version delisting. The company said it will share more information regarding its publishing takeover once the details are finalized. So it's not a huge deal. Like, they'll be back up. Well, I don't know about the Vita ones, but the PS4 one will probably be back up.
I think we said it last week, because there was also an updated article that said that Spike Chunsoft was going to handle the digital rights going forward, so that's probably why the Switch was happening. And yeah, it's been more or less confirmed now, so we just have to be patient to have the games be relisted on the PlayStation Network. Okay, next up we have Fate Extra Remake, Fate Extra Record, announced for current generation platforms. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Type Moon Studio BB has announced Fate Extra Record, a remake of Fate Extra for current generation platforms developed in Unreal Engine. The release date was not announced. And here's an overview of the game via its official website, available in English and Japanese. About Fate Extra released on July 22nd, 2010 as the first RPG in the Fate series. 10 years after its original release, the game is now being remade for current generation platforms. To all those who once witnessed the Moon Holy Grail War unfold, and those who have yet to, please look forward to its arrival. Okay, who's working on it? The original story and scenario is by Kinoko Nasu from Type Moon. The original character concepts is by Takashi Takeuchi, Type Moon. Planning and direction by Kazuya Nino by Type Moon Studio BP. And character design is Arko Wada. I've seen the trailer and it looks really nice and promising.
It's a fighting game, right?
No, it's an RPG. So.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's an RPG.
The screens I saw made it look more like a fighting game.
No.
Maybe that was a different game.
Probably check the trailer, then you're gonna have a better feel for what it's really about.
I'll do that later.
Okay. Next up is you with your Yakuza news.
It's me, a different RPG. Yakuza Like a Dragon adds PS5 version, launches for PS4, Xbox One, and PC in November in the West with English voiceovers. This is by Sal Romano at Gamatsu once again. Yakuza Like a Dragon will launch for PlayStation 5 in the West, in addition to its previously announced Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC versions. Sega announced. The PS4, Xbox One, and PC versions will launch in November. As previously announced, the Xbox Series X version will launch on day one of the console's release date, which may be November 12th or 13th, according to the Microsoft Store, if you're going by release information of Yakuza Like a Dragon. The PlayStation 5 version will release at a later date. The Xbox versions will support smart delivery, ensuring consumers will only need to purchase the game once to play it on either Xbox One or Xbox Series X, when both the console and that version of the game are available. A PS5 upgrade path is also being planned and will be announced at a later date. The previously announced Day 1 edition of Yakuza Like a Dragon will be officially titled the Day Ichi edition. Ichi means one in Japanese, and is also the nickname for the protagonist, Ichiban Kasuga, whose first name means number one. It is joined Hero and Legendary Hero editions. Oh, it is joined by, you forgot a word, Hero and Legendary Hero editions, which are available for pre-order on digital storefronts starting today. And they have the base game and costume packs and these little item sets and the Daiichi Steelbook edition. I'm getting a Steelbook, that's for sure. I'm not a big Steelbook person, but I'll make an exception.
You're not a big Steelbook person?
Sega also announced the English voice cast of Yakuza Like a Dragon, which includes Kaiji Tang as Ichiban Kasuga, protagonist of the story returning from 18 years spent in prison, George Takei as Masume Arakawa, patriarch of the Arakawa family. Oh, you're just catching up with that? Yeah. No, I'm not. You know that. I don't even have that. I got that Persona 5 Steelbook and traded it in.
Oh my god,
like,
that's horrible. That's horrible.
Steelbooks just, they're cool, but I don't collect them. I have a couple Steelbook Blu-rays, but that's only because those were the ones that were there. Greg Chun as Yu Nanba, downtrodden former nurse making amends with the world. Greg Chun is also, I believe, the protagonist of Judgment. And Elizabeth Maxwell as Saiko Mukoda, a bar hostess on a mission. And there's a new trailer and screenshots. This is still could be my game of the year.
That's a pretty bold claim. We'll see if the landing sticks.
All right. You have anything else to say about Yakuza Set? Oh no.
Okay, next up is your Captain Tsubasa one. No, I'm also I'm also looking forward to Yakuza 7. Hello. Okay. It's fine.
We're just gonna keep going.
Okay.
Captain Tsubasa Rise of New Champions 5th trailer, and it just shows a bunch of multiplayer and online stuff, and I'm really excited about it. I'm not gonna get into any details because I'm not in the mood right now. As far as we know. Anyways, did you hear what I said about Captain Tsubasa?
Not everything that you just gonna announce.
I said I didn't say a lot. I just said it was highlighting the multiplayer online and how you can create your own team, and there's a lot of customization, and that's really cool. And they have 2v2 multiplayer, so that's nice.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for that game. That was about it.
Okay. Want me to go ahead with the PlayStation 4 news?
Yes, please.
Okay. PS4 system update 8.00 beta now live. Comes with a number of party and messaging changes. This is by Zarmina Khan for PlayStation Lifestyle. PlayStation 4 system software update 8.0 beta invites have started rolling out, and the changelog reveals a number of improvements to the party and messaging system alongside other features, as reported by MP First. Yes, that's a new thing. Here's what Sony's testing. Party and messages. Oh god, that's a lot. So check the article if you want to see what it's all entailing. Because we're going to be here all night if I have to go through all of this. Next up.
It's basically I put that there because there's a lot of big changes that it's like, that's weird doing that so late in the generation. But then I'm thinking like, well, maybe that's how it's trying to be more like how the systems on PlayStation 5 will be.
Possible. And they always do big stuff with the 0.00 updates. Or 0.0 updates, so
they do like party invites, and you can be in parties with people you blocked, but you won't hear them. And like all these. What else was there? When starting a party, you can now choose to create a new group or select an existing group. Oh, you like if you're in a party with friends, like often it'll remember that.
Oh, okay, so. Kind of being
added to screen during party.
Smart.
Public private settings for parties have been removed. Only members of the group can join the party. Change your party. Yeah, just a bunch of party setting stuff, mostly.
Okay. You can click on the article if you want to read more about that. Okay, next up we have PS5 pre-orders could be limited 1 per household. This is by Matt TM. I didn't know he put his middle name initials there. Okay. By Matt TM Kim for IGN. On Reddit, users who dug into the source code for Sony's direct.playstation.com, the company's hardware retail website, discovered new references to the PlayStation 5 that seem to indicate that Sony will limit PlayStation 5 orders to 1 per household. According to user U/K Garvey, that seems right. Source code in the PlayStation Direct website revealed an error message that could appear if customers attempt to order more than 1 PS5 consoles through the website. IGN verified the source code and can confirm its existence. The message found in the source code reads, "You can only purchase one version of the PS5 console, disc or digital. You have already added one PS5 console to your cart." It further reads that PlayStation also did that with PS4 at the pre-orders, so this isn't completely unusual. But
a good way to prevent scalpers, probably.
That, and I'm guessing stock is not going to be as abundant as with the PS4, and this is kind of a measure to make sure that everyone during the pandemic can get their hands on PS5. Okay, that was about all the news we had today.
I mean, we have more news, but it's also the main topic.
Yes.
So, today we had the Xbox Series X showcase, which was the big blowout. We're not going to go over everything, because there were only 3 Japanese games highlighted.
Yeah. But what were your impressions?
Just in general?
Yeah.
It was alright. It was these game events have been really overhyped this summer with how split up they are. And people are like, "Oh, you're not gonna want to miss this." And then there's like not enough gameplay, just like E3 trailer.
I mean, it's the marketing's job to hype you up. I think it's due to the pandemic that we kind of don't have the things we're used to.
Yeah. Well, luckily, the 3 Japanese games highlighted did show gameplay.
I mean, sure. One is from an older game, but I digress.
So the first one, which is actually in the pre-show, Dragon Quest XI-S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition, coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC on December 4th. This is from Saurumano over Gamatsu, once again. Square Enix will release Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition for PlayStation 4, Xbox One as an Xbox Play Anywhere title, and PC via Steam and the Microsoft Store on December 4th worldwide, the company announced at the Xbox Game Showcase pre-show. It will also be available via Xbox Game Pass. So, that's great. It's on Game Pass. You have no excuse not to play it now. It's on every platform. The best version of Dragon Quest XI is on every platform.
I mean, you have an excuse if it's not up your alley or you have other games currently in your...
No, but if you're on the fence about it, you should play it or get Game Pass.
I mean, sure. Game Pass does make a good argument for trying out games. I mean, for $60 a year and having all that at your fingertips, it's really enticing to try out new games. It should be worth noting that the definitive edition of Dragon Quest XI is a separate SKU. It's not an update or an upgrade you can download as DLC. So kind of like Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal. If you want the definitive edition of Dragon Quest XI, you're gonna have to rebuy it for certain instances. For other people, if you're willing to dive into Dragon Quest, get the definitive edition on your console or platform of choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have Square Enix and Yuji Naka announced 3D action platformer Balan Wonderworld for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Square Enix announced Balan Wonderworld, a new 3D action platformer from Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima, during the Xbox Games Showcase pre-show. It will launch for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via Steam in spring 2021. Okay, I'll read the overview. Here's an overview of the game via Square Enix. Balan Wonderworld is an all-new action platformer from the creators of Sonic the Hedgehog, the global blockbuster video game franchise. The family-friendly platformer will jump onto current and next-generation consoles and PC in the spring of 2021. Entering a whimsical and bizarre land through a mysterious theater, players will take on the role of Leo and Emma as they embark on an adventure like no other. Led by an enigmatic maestro named Balan, they must navigate through Wonderworld to restore happiness and balance to the hearts and minds of all they encounter there. Players will discover over 80 extraordinary costumes along their journey through a variety of unique environments within Wonderworld. The costumes change Leo's and Emma's appearances, granting them a wide array of fantastical powers to overcome obstacles that lay in their path and discover new exciting ways to play. The possibilities are endless as you bash your enemies, walk in the air, freeze time, and manipulate all kinds of objects with the costumes you collect. Balan Wonderworld is an all-new experience from renowned gaming industry talent, including director Yuji Naka, Sonic the Hedgehog franchise creator, Team Sonic co-founder, and character designer Naoto Oshima, Sonic the Hedgehog, Dr. Eggman, and Team Sonic co-founder. The game marks Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima's first collaboration in 20 years and is the first game from the newly established Balan Company gaming brand. Balan Company brings together talented video game developers, visual artists, and composers to tell the greatest stories and provide the ultimate platformer experiences. Okay, that was a lot.
It's a spiritual successor to Knights.
Yeah, it looks like it. The guy with the top hat kind of makes me think of Mario Odyssey. Also, kind of with the color scheme. It looks nice. Very colorful, very weird and fun. I was kind of under the impression that the Balan Collective games were going to be for Western developers. So them having Balan Wonderworld as their first game in the lineup,
same.
It's kind of weird, but it's a welcome surprise. You can check the trailer if you so like. I'll be interested to give this a try. What do you think?
Yeah. And our last part of our
Still
main
there?
topic, what is
Bueller?
Sega reveals Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. Oh, I was moving on to the next news story. Did you not? I don't know if
What's
I'm
wrong now?
lagging or what.
Uh-huh.
I'm here. I'm just... it says I'm connected. Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me? Okay, so I was moving on to the I was moving on to the next story, but it wasn't coming up. Is Sega reveals Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis for PC and Xbox. There we go. And it's out next year. This is from Matt Wales over at Eurogamer. Phantasy Star Online 2, Sega's long-running online action RPG, is getting a major overhaul in the form of a freshly announced New Genesis, which is making its way to Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC at some point next year. Revealed during today's Xbox Series X showcase, New Genesis is being described as the latest entry in the Phantasy Star Online 2 saga and promises to deliver game system and graphics engines updates to significantly enhance the series' action. Sega's announcement messaging does leave something to be desired, however. The publisher has variously and somewhat confusingly referred to New Genesis as both a brand new title in the Phantasy Star Online 2 series over on Twitter and as an update in its YouTube description. It's also further muddied the waters by suggesting it'll make use of players' existing Phantasy Star Online 2 characters in some way. Hopefully, a little more clarity will be provided soon. Whatever form New Genesis ends up taking, Sega says it intends to roll it out on a global scale, with Japanese and North American releases currently confirmed when it launches next year. Definitely an improvement. I think it's just an overhaul, which is great. It looks so much better, and that's what... Phantasy Star Online 2 is a pretty old game, so the graphics aren't great. The gameplay's okay, but yeah, it definitely could use a big update like that.
I mean, it's also due to the art style that it kind of looks more dated than it should, because Final Fantasy XIV is also pretty old now at this point. but it looks great thanks to the art style and thanks to the work the developers put into it. This kind of reminded me of Xenoblade Chronicles X and Xenoblade Chronicles.
My friend said. My friend said, "Oh, Phantasy Star Online is like this looks like Xenoblade's cooler older brother."
Yeah, it's kind of a more grounded sci-fi approach to in comparison to Phantasy Star Online 2. And it looks like a worthwhile escape. And if I have an Xbox, if I have Game Pass, I'm definitely trying this.
Your PC don't think your PC would be able to run it?
My PC might melt from all of those graphics, so
all right.
I'd rather not attempt
Fair enough.
it. Yeah, so I'm guessing I'm turning into one big Xbox Game Pass commercial. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably have seen a bit of that this week.
I think Game Pass isn't Game Pass $1 right now too.
Yeah, it's $1, but
happens every so often.
Yeah,
Game Pass is a good deal, especially for single player games. PC Game Pass is a little weird with the multiplayer, from my experience. But technically, it's still in beta, so hopefully that gets fixed.
Yeah, so I keep coming back to this. Xbox Game Pass is just one of the best values, or the best values in gaming right now. If you have an Xbox One S, if you have a Lockhart or a Series X, and you can't afford anything else, really, just get Game Pass and you'll be settled for a year. Also,
I gotta say, PlayStation Plus, it's not a bad value, but the problem with PlayStation Plus is once those games are gone for the month, you can't get them if you get PlayStation Plus after that. The nice thing about Game Pass is like most games. Some games do go off of Game Pass, but most of them stay up for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to see what Sony has in store to try to compete with Microsoft, or what they're going to do in the future to do that. I know they have so far they have exclusives, but will that be enough?
Well, are we talking about Xbox or Sony right now?
Sony. Xbox doesn't have exclusives, technically.
Well, they have exclusives to their brand and the Xbox platform, but Sony has the tendency of going all in on their AAA narrative games and doesn't leave much variety for everything else. But what we saw from Microsoft had a variety of genres, a variety of play styles, and if you don't like X, you might like Y. If you don't like Grounded, you might like Forza Motorsport. If you don't like Halo, you might like Medium. So there's so much and such a wide breadth of content, and Xbox Game Pass just makes the deal a lot more sweeter. You can try games with great ease, and if it's not up to your liking, you can just move on to the next thing.
And I think something like, because the one thing I've kind of been critical of Xbox on this generation is their Japanese game support, which, it wasn't that great in the 360 days, but it was a lot better.
Yeah, we were kind of hoping Tales of Arise was going to be showing up here, especially after that lackluster Play Anime Live.
We didn't talk about that earlier, but yeah. Play Anime Live was a waste of time. I'm sorry, Bandai Namco.
We love you, but no, just no. If they get Tales of Arise, if they get like a remaster or a backwards compatibility update for Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, that would be great. Eternal Sonata, those kind of games.
Yeah. Resonance of Fate. Wait, Resonance of Fate was on Xbox 360, wasn't it?
I think so, or PlayStation 3.
I think it was on both. I got the HD for PS4 and PC only, though.
Yeah, so Xbox, please, just bring the JRPGs.
I think Dragon Quest is a good sign. Dragon Quest and Phantasy Star are good signs of things to come.
Yeah, Dragon Quest, Phantasy Star, Yakuza, Final Fantasy. They more or less have all the big hitters. Now they only need Persona and Tales and all the other JRPGs.
Maybe a couple of new things.
And a couple of new things. It's just give us a reason to cover you, because I kind of want an Xbox now. So help me help you, Xbox. Help me help you.
And make sure you give this guy's country actual support.
Here's to hoping.
Okay, we don't have listener questions this week, unfortunately. We didn't get any. Well, we were going to have our guest, but their internet was out. Man, a lot of people having problems with the internet lately.
I mean, everyone's at home now and making use of the internet, so it stands to reason that bandwidth is kind of limited at this point.
I guess so.
Yeah, but thanks for hanging out. It was fun discussing these things. We'll be back next week, hopefully with our guests.
Yeah. Play games. If you're going outside and not playing games, stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands. All that stuff. Be kind to
one another. And this has been Erroll. This has been Jason. And we'll see you again soon.
Also, apologies for the cutouts with the internet and stuff. I don't know how editing this is going to be a nightmare, but I will try.
Stay tuned. Bye.